As a new entrepreneur, there are definitely a lot of things that you need to get adjusted to. For myself personally, I've seen that one of the biggest things that have been a challenge for me is just the lack of structure, especially coming from corporate America, where every day for the last 7 years, I've been getting up at a certain time, knowing exactly where I'm going, knowing exactly what I'm doing, and leaving that job after I get done my task and coming home. When you get into entrepreneurship, it's an entirely different game. There's so much things to do, it feels like there's so little time. And really, especially when you're still working a 9 to 5, you have to really fit a lot of those tasks in at whatever point in your day that you can. With that being said, this is one of those days where it's a bit frustrating because I got a lot of things to do on my side businesses, whether it be Turo, whether it be business credit, and definitely creating the content, but also I had to wake up and get some tasks done, go to some meetings still at my 9 to 5. So today I decided to take the bag chasers on a little day in the life of an entrepreneur so I can show you guys exactly how you might need to maneuver certain tasks when it comes to your business and still make sure you can accomplish everything in your day. So there's a few things that we need to get out the way on the business side today. One of the first things being picking up one of the cars from a weekend trip from a Turo guest, and that includes just making sure everything went well, there's no damage, taking the pictures and doing the full checkout. And of course, if it's any damage, if anybody smoked in the vehicle, we want to make sure that we put in those incidental charges as well. So just hopped in the wheel and looking around. The first thing I usually check for is to see if anybody smoked in the vehicle, if I smell anything, see any ashes, and to be honest, we looking good. So first thing down. Next, we got to go ahead and get the pictures taken of, do a full checkout, and give a guest a good rating if everything went well. To be honest, it's always a little something that happens on a trip, you know, whether it be a little scratch or something. In this particular one, I actually noticed that the guest broke the strap on our car seat. So as you can see, that's disconnected. Don't really know how he did this, but you know, something that's annoying but minor enough that if I put in a damage claim for this on a 75 plan, I have a $250 deductible, and I doubt that this is going to cost anything over $250. So, you know, this is probably something I'm just going to have to fix or replace. Don't know if you can tell, but I also noticed that the little coat hanger on the back door has a chip in it right here. As a Turo host, like, you just become accustomed to little things like this. And when in the rental car game, it's always going to be a little dings and scratches that happen, but just thank God, nothing, no big damage, nothing crazy. But something that did come up, and this is to no fault of the guest, I noticed that when I got into the car and I started driving, I could tell that the brakes needed to be changed. So this is something unexpected that I really wasn't accounting for today in my schedule. But like I said, guys, it's always going to be something that, you know, you really got to fit into your day. And I'm working from home today. I'm definitely about to run the car up to the shop and see if I can get these brakes changed real quick before we make this move to the bank and see if we can get some more funding for our business. Just dropped the Civic off at Midas, see if we can get these brake pads changed, and I actually just leave it there and take an Uber and just come back whenever they call me and say it's done. I actually been using Midas as my main body shop for some time now, and it's a few reasons I do so. One thing I learned from Midas is that any work that they do on your vehicle comes with a warranty. So if anything goes wrong, you can bring the car right back in and they'll fix it for free. I have had some times when I had some local mechanics working on my cars and it just didn't turn out right, and then I was kind of SOL and I wind up having to go to Midas anyway. So now I'm just waiting for an Uber, take me home and hop in my car, and we're gonna head to the bank after that. After a quick switch of cars, I just pulled up to a very popular local bank that is well known for giving small businesses and new entrepreneurs a lot of funding, and it's my favorite type of funding, which is no doc funding. I've actually been working on this process for a few months now. I've been trying to get a business credit card as well as a business line of credit with this bank, but I've really been having some trouble. Now, a lot of my friends who are also, entrepreneurs and have their own businesses have already ran the play with this bank and easily got $20,000 to $30,000, not just in the business credit card, but also on a business line of credit, as I said, with no docs. And actually, this is one of the few banks that don't even do a hard pull when you go to personal guarantee your business funding. Now, this specific bank is called KeyBank, and I do know that they're pulling the report from my Equifax. For some reason, when I go PG these lines of credit, the underwriters are just coming back and saying that they can't access my report because there's a freeze or something on there. I've called Equifax, I've called even smaller credit bureaus like Innovis, and just made sure there were no blocks, there were no freezes, and been trying to go back and forth with the branch managers and the small business lenders to just make sure that I can go through this. They actually just sent me an email and said, come back up and see what we can do. Maybe we can call Equifax and just make sure it's all clear, or figure out what we need to do so that we can run this credit report, or just get this pool so that we can get these lines of credit. This is just another mission during the day that we need to get out the way so that we can further scale our businesses and be able to make more moves outside of our job. So rock out with me as I see what they're talking about.
Okay, so Ralph, when I just check it out, actually, you don't have any security freeze on the credit file.
Yep.
And there is no freeze on your credit file. However, still the creditors were unable to access your credit file, right?
Correct.
So for that one, actually, I'm not sure, but if the creditors, lenders, if they were unable to access the credit file, then yeah, we process with this.
So after spending about 45 minutes talking to the small business manager over at this KeyBank, unfortunately, we just ran into the same problem. He actually called his underwriters as well as his advisors, ran another application, and it just came back saying the same thing, that they weren't able to pull my Equifax. We even called Equifax and they verified that there was no freeze on my report. We verified all the credentials that we put in on the application, and everything was correct. So at this point, there's just some unknown reason on why KeyBank is getting this block when they're trying to access my credit report. But I also don't want this to deter my bag chasers from running the KeyBank play. We've talked a lot about how to build business credit, how to run no documentation business credit play, and KeyBank is the same way. Many of my friends who are new and more experienced entrepreneurs with businesses get up to $25,000, $50,000 of business credit cards and business lines of credit from KeyBank, and some of them haven't even got the hard pull when they went to apply. Just being the transparent person that I am, I definitely wanted to share with you guys this experience because it has been pretty frustrating for me. I really wanted to line up, like $50,000 to $75,000 with this lender to be able to add to my business credit portfolio. We've already talked about other lenders, like Truist is one of my favorites, of course, Navy Fed, and also Bank of America, and there are a few others. But now having about over $150,000 in funding available for my business, I really thought this was going to be the one to take me over 200K. But hey, there's always more lenders that we can go try, and that's just going to be my next move. Like I said, I don't want this to deter you from trying KeyBank. If you're definitely at a 700 above, I like to say credit utilization under 20%, and your business is fully structured, you can definitely get funding from KeyBank if you're in the region that they serve, as well as, like I said, a lot of times it's going to be a soft pull. So actually, I want you guys to run this play if you have access to a KeyBank, and let me know if you run the play, or if you've already run the play. Let me know in the comments what has been your experience, if you've been able to get the funding, or if you've run into a block like this. Now that we got that bank run out the way, I did get a call from Midas, and they told me that the Civic was ready. And when I got there, I actually got some good news for today. They told me that my brake pads were still in good condition, that I probably still had about 4 to 5 months worth of wear on them until I needed to bring it back and probably get changed at that point. So of course that was a relief. I would rather be safe than sorry. Like I said, I did think that I heard maybe a little bit of grinding, a little bit of squeaking, but I'm probably just traumatized from having to change so many brake pads and rotors over the course of my fleet. So, you know, I just picked up the Civic. It's in good condition, still listed on Turo, and is ready to go back out on its next trip. All in all, as you can see, man, there's a lot of ups and downs that go along with just a normal day in the life of an entrepreneur when you're running multiple businesses and still working a 9-to-5, you know, trying to make things happen. And for all my bag chasers who are still watching, man, I just want to give you guys a huge shout out and say thank you for all the support that you show me and this channel. So I really hope that getting a glimpse into the actual day in the life of what, you know, being an entrepreneur and running multiple businesses looks like, not only gives you some insight to what to expect, but also motivates you, because I know a lot of us come from the same background to where we really might not know where our next dollar is coming from, to where we could never even imagine that not living check to check, not relying on a 9-to-5 job could actually be possible. And for that exact reason is why, you know, I make content, is why I try to give every play that I'm running and learning in real life back to you guys, because it's really possible to change your life. And no, as you can see in this video, is not always going to be positive and always be successful ventures. But if you lock in, stay disciplined, and stay on this journey, I promise you that you can definitely become successful. You can start earning more money, and you can really change your life over time by just building the habits and gaining the knowledge that are necessary. So I appreciate you. Make sure you stay locked in, and we're gonna run this bag up together.